We're out here with the Guitarmageddon ZL1 Jeep, and today we are going to fix this. You hear that? That's not supposed to do that. Let me get the camera down in here and show you what's going on. Okay, this is where your steering shaft comes out of the firewall, goes into a universal, and there's supposed to be a bearing. As you can see, this right here is what's left of the bearing, and that means when you go over bumps, that's what you hear the whole time. So we got a new bearing kit, as you saw in one of the other videos where I bought the new steering Y-link assembly for the front, and today we're going to replace this, and I'll show you how. Okay, I'm hoping this camera angle proves useful. First thing we need to do is make sure that our steering wheel is not locked. And the next thing we need to do is loosen this bolt right here, which is kind of in a tricky spot because of this brake line. So we will make do the best we can. If I need to turn the wheel a little bit. Oh, there we go. That fits a lot better. That's a metric 11. Okay, so we'll go with the 11 millimeter instead of the 7/16. We'll wiggle our way down in here. Should not be too hard to remove. There it goes. Just broke loose. There it comes. And there it is. Okay. We get the bolt out. Now this should just slide down off of that, but sometimes it won't. So we'll use a little pry bar action here. See if I can get some bite somewhere to get it to move. Okay, so another problem I ran into right down here is a slip joint right here. Yeah, right there. And what that allows the steering shaft to do is telescope, in and out, compress. It's seized completely, so that means I need a brand new steering shaft. So I took the bolt off of the U-joints down at the gearbox, steering box, and I've been working with the grinder to cut the steering shaft. I have a new one ordered, so I'm cutting the steering shaft to get this piece to drop. That's hot. I can pull this piece off and then pull it up from the bottom. So, join me for some cutoff action. This video clip's actually going to be upside down thanks to the camera. So we are fishing our grinder down in here and amongst the brake lines and everything else that's down here. I've already got a good cut started. It's just about through, so really I just need to finish it up here, which shouldn't take too much. It's just such a terrible place to get down in there. So there we go. Alright, this should be it. Which I know now you're blocked from being able to see. And there it goes. Okay. So right here is the upper piece, which is now off. So I can get to the bearing. And now I gotta try to work on getting this lower piece off, which I'm probably gonna need to pry bar for, because I don't think I can muscle it off. There we go. Okay. Bearing retainer, which is that white piece. Okay, so here's the bearing, which surprisingly isn't in too bad a shape. There it is. Okay, there's the bearing retainer. Okay, so this piece that we took off can get thrown out because the replacement came with one. So here's everything in the replacement kit. Bearing. It's a lot more stiff. Bearing retainer. And this piece with the clip. So the bearing needs to be pressed into this. So go over to the vise and we'll press the bearing in, and then we should be set for that. Okay, so this side goes out, this side goes in, and it doesn't press in very far. It just snaps around that little lip on the inside of the bearing. And that's all the more that this goes in. Bearings are pretty well greased, so you don't have to really pack them. And this should slide into place. And that's the one I took off. Well, that doesn't even really look new, but okay. And gets held into place with this, which goes like this. And that's pretty much what it will look like when it's all done. All right. Now there is sort of a certain way that this goes in there, and you can see the different size tabs. There's a large tab for a large opening, which points toward the passenger side. So you just want to align those tabs when you push it in. I've got a little bit of penetrating oil, WD-40 penetrating oil. I'm just going to spray a real quick blast. And that should help this slide on the shaft pretty easily. Okay, the bearing is completely seated. I'm gonna move you in really close here in the hopes that you'll be able to see it. So right here is the new white retainer. Here's the end of the bearing. And look, the shaft doesn't bounce around anymore. Makes just a little bit of noise, but nothing like it used to. So all that's left is to put this clip on, which basically you put it around and try to position it into place. So I need to come forward there. And there it is. Okay. So if you remember, this is what was bouncing around, making all kinds of racket. So we got a new bearing in there. Now we're just waiting on a replacement steering column. Whew, what an adventure this bearing was. I cut out so much footage of painstakingly slow cutting, sanding, and everything that went into getting that new bearing in. So if it wasn't for the difficulties I ran into with the steering shaft being froze, I think it would have been really easy. But you got to roll with the punches. So again, here's the old setup. I mean, you can see the spacing in the bearings. They're just worn. You can actually hear them. Junk. Okay. Well, geez, I forgot to put this on. All right, well, I'm gonna put this on and then we'll be done. So, finished product. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, tough, hit the like button anyway. And if you're not yet a subscriber, please subscribe. I wish you all well, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks, bye-bye.